Have you ever noticed how the world treats a fallen man? The same people who once applauded him suddenly become experts on his failure. The same doors that opened effortlessly begin closing before he even reaches them. Nobody respects a man when he is down. They may pity him, they may comfort him, they may offer sweet words wrapped in sympathy. But deep inside, they are waiting to see whether he rises again or disappears forever. That is the brutal truth of life. Respect is not given to the man who never falls. Respect is given to the man who rises after being buried. A comeback has always been more powerful than uninterrupted success. History remembers men who returned from ruin. Kings who lost kingdoms, warriors who survived defeat, entrepreneurs who went bankrupt, and leaders who were mocked before they were feared. Their greatness was not their victory, it was their return. Most men misunderstand failure. They believe failure is a sign from the universe telling them to quit. In reality, failure is simply a test asking one question: how badly do you want your future? The average man sees one rejection and retreats. He sees one setback and begins negotiating with his dreams. He loses one battle and starts writing stories about why the war is impossible to win. But real men are different. They understand that every empire was built on the ruins of previous attempts. Every champion has memories of humiliation that nobody talks about when they hold the trophy. The first rule of making a comeback is silence. Not motivation, not confidence, not revenge, silence. When you are broken, the world expects explanations. People want updates, excuses, emotional speeches, and promises about what you will do next. Give them none of it. The more you talk about your comeback, the less likely it becomes. Words create an illusion of progress. Your brain begins rewarding itself for talking instead of acting. Many men destroy their future because they announce their plans too early. They tell everyone about the business they will launch, the body they will build, the money they will make. Then reality arrives and exposes their weakness. A comeback is not a performance. It is a construction project. The strongest foundations are built underground where nobody can see them. When a lion is wounded, it does not gather the jungle and explain its pain. It disappears, it heals, it regains strength, then it returns. Your first responsibility is not proving people wrong. Your first responsibility is rebuilding yourself. Revenge without preparation creates another defeat. Look at your life honestly. Remove the comforting lies. Remove the emotional stories. Remove the excuses that protect your ego. What caused your fall? Was it laziness? Was it arrogance? Was it distraction? Was it weakness disguised as comfort? Somewhere inside the answer lies the blueprint of your comeback. Most men fear self-reflection because it destroys the image they have of themselves. They would rather blame circumstances than confront their own decisions. But power begins where excuses end. The moment you accept responsibility for your condition, you also gain authority over your future. Responsibility is frightening because it removes every place to hide. Yet it is also liberating because it places the steering wheel back into your hands. The second rule of making a comeback is controlled anger, not emotional anger, not reckless anger, controlled anger. Every great comeback contains a hidden fire, a memory of betrayal, a memory of humiliation, a memory of being underestimated when it mattered most. The difference between weak men and powerful men is what they do with that fire. Weak men let it consume them. Powerful men use it as fuel. Imagine carrying every insult as energy, every rejection as strength, every failure as a reminder that the story is not over. Most people want comfort after failure. Comfort feels good for a moment, but it slowly turns into a prison. It teaches you to accept less than what you once desired. Growth rarely comes from comfort. Growth comes from tension. The bow must be pulled backward before the arrow can move forward. Your comeback begins the moment you stop asking, Why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I become because this happened? That question changes everything. It transforms suffering into strategy. It transforms pain into preparation. The third rule is discipline, not motivation, not inspiration, discipline. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a resident. Motivation arrives when conditions are favorable. Discipline works regardless of conditions. Many men wait until they feel ready. They wait until confidence returns. They wait until fear disappears. That day never comes. Confidence is earned through action, not before action. Fear disappears only after repeated exposure. You do not become stronger by thinking about strength. You become stronger by doing difficult things repeatedly until difficulty loses its power over you. Wake up when you said you would wake up. Train when you said you would train. Work when you said you would work. These actions seem insignificant individually, yet over time they create something rare in today's world: self-respect. A man who keeps promises to himself develops an invisible power. He begins trusting his own words. He becomes reliable to himself. That trust is priceless. Without it, every goal feels impossible. With it, even impossible goals begin looking achievable. Your comeback is not built through one heroic moment. It is built through hundreds of ordinary days executed with extraordinary consistency. Most men quit because they expect dramatic transformation. They want visible results immediately. They want proof that their efforts are working. But life rewards patience. Nature rewards patience. Every meaningful achievement grows slowly before it grows visibly. The bamboo tree spends years developing roots before showing significant growth above the surface. Human success follows the same principle. The world sees the sudden rise. It never sees the years spent building foundations beneath the surface. That is why your comeback must be private before it becomes public. Let your actions speak before your mouth does. A real man understands something most people never learn. The greatest victories are often invisible during their early stages. While others are seeking attention, he is seeking progress. While others are collecting validation, he is collecting competence. And when the day finally arrives, when everyone asks how he managed to rise after falling so far, his answer is simple. He stopped talking. He started working. And he never stopped. There is another truth about comebacks that most men refuse to accept. The world is not waiting for you to succeed. In many cases, it is quietly expecting you to fail. This realization hurts at first. You want to believe that everyone is cheering for you. You want to think your friends, relatives, and acquaintances all want the best for you. Some do, many don't. Not because they hate you, but because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation. When a man rises, he becomes a mirror. His discipline exposes their laziness. His courage exposes their fear. His progress exposes their excuses. That is why your comeback cannot depend on support. Support is a bonus. Self-reliance is a necessity. The fourth rule of making a comeback is learning to walk alone. There will be days when nobody believes in your vision except you. On those days, your ability to continue becomes your greatest advantage. Most people are enthusiastic when the crowd is cheering. Very few remain committed when the crowd disappears. Solitude is where real men are built, not because loneliness is pleasant, but because it reveals who you are without external validation. Many men confuse attention with value. They believe they are progressing because people are watching, yet attention and achievement are not the same thing. A man can have thousands of followers and still lack direction. Another man can work in silence for years and eventually dominate his field. Never mistake visibility for progress. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The strongest person is usually too busy building. The fifth rule is to protect your focus like a king protects his throne. Every comeback requires energy, and focus determines where that energy goes. Look around carefully. Notice how many things compete for your attention every single day. Notifications, entertainment, gossip, arguments, distractions disguised as opportunities. Most men lose not because they lack talent. They lose because their attention is scattered across 100 different directions. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while there are holes everywhere. No matter how much effort you put in, the water keeps escaping. Your attention works the same way. Every unnecessary distraction steals a piece of your future. A comeback demands concentration. It demands the willingness to say no to things that offer immediate pleasure but produce long-term weakness. This is where many men fail. They want success without sacrifice. They want results without discomfort. Life does not operate that way. Every meaningful reward has a price. The question is whether you are willing to pay it. The man who wants a powerful body must sacrifice comfort. The man who wants wealth must sacrifice convenience. The man who wants greatness must sacrifice mediocrity. Nobody escapes this law. The only difference is what people choose to sacrifice. Weak men sacrifice their future for temporary pleasure. Strong men sacrifice temporary pleasure for a stronger future. The sixth rule is to become emotionally dangerous, not emotionally unstable, emotionally dangerous. Most men are controlled by their emotions. Their mood determines their effort. Their feelings determine their decisions. One bad day destroys their productivity. One criticism ruins their confidence. One rejection changes their entire direction. A dangerous man operates differently. He feels emotions but does not obey them. He experiences fear but continues moving. He experiences doubt but continues building. Imagine how powerful you become when your actions are no longer controlled by temporary feelings. Imagine how much progress becomes possible. The world is full of emotional prisoners. Their emotions pull the strings while they mistake themselves for the puppeteer. Freedom begins when discipline becomes stronger than emotion. Freedom begins when action becomes independent of mood. This is why successful men often appear calm during chaos. They have trained themselves to separate emotion from execution. The seventh rule of making a comeback is mastering your environment. Your environment influences you more than your willpower. Most people believe success is purely internal. While mindset matters, environment often determines whether that mindset survives. Place an ambitious man among lazy people, and eventually his standards begin to decline. Place a disciplined man among disciplined people, and his standards begin to rise. Humans adapt. We absorb habits, expectations, and behaviors from those around us. This means you must audit your environment with brutal honesty. Who are you spending time with? What are you consuming daily? What influences surround your life? Every influence is either building your future or weakening it. There is no neutral ground. The conversations you listen to matter. The content you consume matters. The people you admire matter. Many men sabotage themselves without realizing it. They spend hours consuming negativity, comparison, drama, and meaningless entertainment. Then they wonder why they feel unmotivated. They wonder why their focus disappears. They wonder why their confidence remains weak. Your mind becomes what it repeatedly consumes. Feed it garbage long enough, and eventually your thinking reflects it. Feed it strength, discipline, knowledge, and purpose, and your actions begin changing accordingly. The eighth rule is patience with pressure. Every comeback contains a period where nothing seems to work. You will work hard without visible results. You will make sacrifices without immediate rewards. You will question whether your efforts matter. This phase destroys most people, not because the goal is impossible, but because progress becomes invisible. The human mind craves evidence. It wants proof that the struggle is worth it.